Since I started following Jesus, my life has become unexplainable apart from God, and a lot of times it feels like I'm living in a story out of the book of Acts. Now, I'm not talking about like all the miracles and signs and wonders and miraculous healings and things like that. I don't experience much of that. But the way that you see the Holy Spirit clearly leading the disciples in the book of Acts and then using them to reach the lost with the gospel, I experience that all the time. I grew up in what I call schizophrenic Christianity. My wife hates that I call it that, but it's my childhood, so I explain it in a way that makes sense to me. You see, I grew up going to church. I lived in a family that came out of the Jesus movement from back in the 70s, but it wasn't real in their life. The adults I grew up with were really good at convincing church people that we were a good Christian family, but it was just an act. From the time I was little, I wanted God in my life. I wanted to follow Jesus, but what I got from my family was domestic violence and abuse. When I was 18, I asked my mom why I should believe what she believed, and she didn't have an answer because it wasn't authentic in her life. Growing up, I was in this cycle where I would answer every altar call at every youth event and then rededicate my life to God, and then eventually I would fall into sin and walk away from Him until the next altar call where I would get saved again. For years, I told God I was putting my faith in Jesus and surrendering my life to Him, but I always held back a little. That partial surrender meant I had never actually put my faith in Jesus. When I finally put my faith in Jesus by fully surrendering to God, that's when He transformed me and gave me the life I described at the beginning of this video.